What's up, y'all? Cliff here from Not Gospel Studios and Seventh Time Down. I don't usually get too personal on the channel. I usually keep it about my faith and about socio-political stuff and pop culture. But we talk a lot about parenting and what it means to raise kids and the different seasons of life on the channel. And because of that, I felt like this video was kind of important and I wanted to share it with you guys. This is not the studio, obviously. I'm with my family. We try to do that once or twice a year. And as you can see, little Judah is rocking his sweet mullet and is asleep on the couch behind me as I make this video. One thing I wanted to talk about is the stress and anxiety of parenting young kids, and then the stress and anxiety that we place on young kids. And hopefully this means something to somebody and can meet you right where you're at and can help you on your journey in parenting little humans, because that's what it's about. This week, I want to talk about Griffin, my middle child. I have a heart and a soft spot for my middle child because I am a middle child, so I know what it's like to feel like you're overlooked or your achievements aren't good enough. I know what that looks like. I know what that feels like. And because of that, as a dad, I've tried to always make sure I have special time with him. Not favoritism, but special time with him. Just like I do Judah and just like I do my oldest boy, Liam. Because the baby, it's easy to see where the baby kid gets a lot of attention. He's just finished or in the throes of potty training, and he requires a lot of parenting. And since your oldest child is hitting every stage of life first, it always seems like he needs a lot of attention because none of your kids have experienced what he's experiencing. And because of that, you want to, lock arms with him and make sure that he's okay and that he has what he needs and he's equipped with that. And then Griffin in the middle, it kind of feels like there's this assumption that, well, you've seen your brother do this, so you're going to be okay and you know how to do it. And a lot of times they get overlooked. And Griffin is a brilliant, handsome, creative, funny kid. I know a lot of parents, if not every good parent, thinks that about their kid, but it's true in his case. He's first grade, 7 years old, at a fourth grade reading level. The kid surprises us at every turn. The things he says, the jokes he comes up with are hysterical. He's his own person, and I love him. I can't imagine life without my kids. But this week on vacation, we noticed that he's been fidgeting and twiddling his hair. And we try to tell him, don't twiddle your hair, because our parents always told us it'll make your hair come out or whatever. But come to find out, he's been twiddling his hair so much in the back of his head that he has these giant bald spots in the back of his head. And we only found out because he come out of the shower in the hotel room and we looked at the back of his sweet mullet that he wanted and saw these bald spots, and I was just blown away. And my first reaction, my knee-jerk reaction as a parent, was to be like, man, we've told you not to do this. Look what you're doing to yourself. And then I got kind of rebuked in my spirit and was like, but wait a minute. There's a reason why he's doing this. He's got to be stressed about something. He's got to be anxious about something. So I had to take a breath and pull Griffin away from the circumstance, and I pulled him to the side and I said, hey buddy, let's talk. And I asked him if he was anxious or scared about things, and at first he said no, of course, but then we started talking, and there was just little things throughout the day that he would worry about, and he'd choose to worry about them. And he said when he was anxious he would twiddle his hair, even though we know as parents that he's 7, he has no business being anxious about stuff and worrying about things. We know that's our job as parents, to prayerfully seek through these things and guide our family through every situation. But he'd be worrying about little stuff that didn't make any sense. I'll give you an example. We were at Universal Studios and we were on the Mummy ride, and they made you put your stuff in a locker. And when we got out of the ride, the locker was not functioning and it wouldn't let us get our stuff. And he's over there twiddling his hair, and he told me, he said, Daddy, I was worried we wouldn't get our stuff back. And I was like, buddy, you don't have to worry about that. Let mommy and daddy worry about that. It's gonna work out. And even if it doesn't work out super great, it's gonna be okay. Like, that's not something to worry about. You'll be fine. So after talking with him for a little bit and sort of going through, having him just talk to me and explain to me what he was dealing with and what he was wrestling with and the feelings he was carrying, I was able to figure out that this fidgeting and this twiddling thing wasn't something that was going to go away. I couldn't just show him bald spots on the back of his head and say, hey man, your hair's falling out because you're twiddling it out. Stop. He was going to have to cope, and he was going to have to deal with some of these stressful feelings he was carrying until he figured out how to not carry them. And so I reached into my camera bag and I grabbed a little microfiber cloth and I said, Griffin, I don't think you need to be worrying about stuff, but if you have to worry and you fidget when you worry, take this cloth. And I showed him. I said, you take this cloth and you twiddle it in your fingers. And if you use it, work it between your fingers, maybe that will be something that you can do instead of twiddling your hair. And he said, okay, Dad. And so he stuck it in his pocket, and I could see him reaching down and twiddling his little cloth. Do I think that's a fixing thing? Is the situation fixed? No. Apparently, I need to start giving more attention to Griffin. I need to start having more of those quiet time moments where I sit down and I'm just with him and I'm listening to his heart and hearing him explain what he's going through. And I would encourage every parent with this, the kid in your household that you think is the strongest, the kid in your household that you believe has it all together, that requires the least amount of parenting. Take time with that kid. Take time to sit down and ask that child what's going on and have special things with that child that only you and that child do. Because it's been my experience right now as a dad that I'm missing these moments, I'm missing these emotional cues, and my son's dealing with a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have to deal with at 7 years old. Now, granted, we're blessed. We work hard. We have a good support system in our family. And we try to be there for our kids. I try to be there for all the practices and coach the football games and film the games and have the special things. But there are times when I choose to work and not engage with my kids. Just like everybody who works hard to try and provide a living for their family has to do. But my acknowledgement and admonishment for you guys is when you see your kid doing something wrong that you've warned them about, whatever, don't let the knee-jerk reaction be where it ends. If your knee-jerk reaction is I told you not to do this, and you're scolding your child, don't let that be where it ends. Take a moment, pull them to the side, and try to at least demonstrate to your kid that you're interested in figuring out why they have this issue and what's bothering them. That's what I'm going to try to do with Griffin. We're probably on a journey of figuring out why he's stressing so much as a 7-year-old. But I believe through God and through patience that he gives and provides, we're going to find out a way to meet our son right where he is and help him to work through all this stuff and be the happy-go-lucky kid that I know he is deep down. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. If you have questions or concerns or prayer requests you want us to pray about for you and your journey and this season of life you're in, write them in the comments. God bless and keep being awesome, because that's how God made you.